genre is it? I didn't catch that.
It's actually in a fantasy genre.
It's a fantasy.
Yeah.
Um,
Sword and sorcery. Okay.
it's kind of hard to hear you. Could you speak up
Uh,
just a
uh,
little bit?
uh, well, I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you as well, but so
Okay, so for example,
Okay, Joel. Why don't we do this? The phone's clearly not working here, brother. Do you have Skype or something like that where we can get a clearer signal on you? Because I've tried to call your number on Skype and it won't go through. And it's a 375 area code. I don't know where that is exactly.
385.
385. Okay, because the number I have that you sent me was 375-251-14567. That's the number you sent me.
Hold on a second. Let me go back and through.
Because that's the number I've got. That's what I have been trying to copy here.
That is my bad.
Okay. Okay. What is the number? I'm going to type it in right now here on Skype, and I'm going to call you. So what is that number?
385.
Okay.
251. 4567.
4567. Okay, I'm going to hang up with you on air. I'm going to call you right back, and we're going to try to get this going.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, guys. That's my bad. Well, you... Oh, my God. Okay, we're going to try this again. I'm going to start with Jay. Jay, can you hear Joel?
I don't know.
Joel, give us a sound check here. We're trying to make sure everybody can hear each other here, man.
I can hear you a lot better this time.
Okay, good. I'm going to go ahead and just start. We're just going to start over. So, Jay, go ahead and start, and we'll hopefully try this again. So go, my friend.
Hey, I'm Jae B Wells. I'm your hostess. You are tuning in with Tea Time with PJ Gangsta, and I am talking with another author. Yes, there are other authors besides me in the world. Joel, can you tell us how to find you?
It can actually be found on Instagram. The username is Vincent042 on Instagram, and you can actually also find me. I do have a page on Amazon, where you can also link over to my book, and you can also find me on my personal website, joelheath.weebly.com, where I've got access to the book links and my social media.
Hey, Joel. You're writing fantasy, right? And you've got 2 books so far in your series.
2 out of 4 planned. I've actually got the first draft of the 3rd finished, and an outline for the 4th and final book in progress.
Now, I don't know about you, but when I was writing my book, I had to cut the first book in half, and so I had 2 books there. And then I think the second book I ended up cutting like 3 times. Are you summarizing, or how are you writing this series?
Well, originally I wrote it as a movie script because that's what I'd studied for like 15 years. But I wanted to see how good it would do as a book, and so I spent weeks and weeks converting it. And after I'd gotten it converted to the first draft, it needed to be beefed up. So I spent a few months beefing that up and really wanted to continue the series.
So what about your main character? What does the story follow?
The story follows Gabe as an infant on a planet called Populus. He is sent from his world to Earth to escape his father, who is trying to kill him. And then he arrives on Earth, and for the next 30 years, he suffers immense misfortune. And there is a reason behind that. It kind of ties into quantum physics and the theory of alternate universes.
You sound like an educated man. Did you go to school for some of this quantum stuff?
Actually, my school was the University of YouTube and Stargate, so that's where I learned a lot of this.
That's
But
awesome.
I'm to the point where it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, as authors, if you want to get, in order for fantasy to be believable, you have to have facts and do a lot of research.
Yeah. I mean,
What made
the
you
writing
want to
I
become an
do, I
author?
don't like. Oh, yeah, writing I do. I like to make it as easy as possible for my readers to suspend their disbelief. So I have to do a lot of research to get the right facts into my story. And
That's right.
that's
Is it illustrated?
sorry.
Is it illustrated?
No, it is not. Unless you count the cover, there are no internal illustrations.
So you have to use your imagination to understand what these characters look like.
Yeah. Because of the magical languages based in Latin, you got to at least be able to read that. Uh,
That's pretty cool. That's like down my alley.
yeah.
Did
um,
did you study the linguistics or Latin from YouTube or?
uh, actually, I got my first exposure to the language of Latin. If you remember Kim Possible, there was
Yes.
a movie that was made up of 3 episodes where one of the main characters was taking Latin class because of a misunderstanding, and he was thinking it was about salsa.
That's pretty
But,
cool. Have you gone
yeah.
to any conventions or events to sell your book?
I was signed up to go to FanX down in Salt Lake this September, but due to the outbreak, it was canceled.
Yeah.
And,
So what are you doing on social
and
media to push your book?
well, I'm regularly posting. I've been handing out codes for the free audiobook that people can get. And all I ask is a review if you've got the time. Doing all sorts of research on how I can promote the book better. Unfortunately, because of a learning disability I was diagnosed with, it kind of makes it a little hard to really know if my work is having the impact that I want it to have.
Well, I'm sure that as soon as we can get back in the swing of things and get to Comic Cons again, I'm about to go nuts to go back to a Comic Con. Um, that that would be definitely a place to go to. You're speaking on different radio shows, right?
This is the first one I've been able to get onto.
Really? Well, I'm glad that
The
I was
strange,
your first
sorry.
experience.
Yeah, the strange thing is that the thing that terrifies me most isn't the idea of being heard by millions of people. It's more the social interaction that I'm having with the host.
It's
It's
the social interaction.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, social interaction. It freaks me out a little bit, but public speaking, for some reason, it doesn't bother me.
Oh, well, I hate to say this, but that's kind of somewhat of a normal life of an author. Um, I actually have, I met an author. His name is Joe, and he's been listening this whole time and nodding. And so he's been enjoying your interview as well. And we've actually exchanged some knowing glances of, yep, been there, done that, know what you're going through, man.
So it's nice and I'm in good company.
It is. Us authors have to stick together somehow.
Yeah, that's right.
And we, you know, in that aspect, I'm glad that I was your first radio show because being an author, I've been there, done that. Can't say I'm doing it tomorrow because I've already done it. But I definitely I like the social interaction.
Yeah. My favorite aspect of being an author is, well, to give you kind of a little bit of background on me, is I've often had a lack of what I felt was lack of control in my life, and so being an author, letting me create these worlds, letting me create these characters, and even through these obstacles, it really helps to establish that sense of control to me. And the lack of control is a bit of an anxiety trigger for me. So being able to write is almost therapeutic.
Yep. Both me and Joe are going, yep, yep. Princess Gangster right here. Hell yeah. You know, I can't tell you how many times I sat down and oh, I obsessed over the plot so much that I dreamed about it, trying to work out what was going to happen, who was going to do what. In my sci-fi, there's a nightmare, and I actually had that nightmare. So,
Ooh.
so I get it. And then the whole part of control is, yeah, my one of the reasons why I wrote my science fiction novel is I had something bad happen to me, and I wanted to control, and so I sat down and I wrote my sci-fi.
Yeah.
That was my release.
It's amazing release that we're able to do that, to take control and empower ourselves by creating these worlds.
And then by empowering ourselves, we've both of us have experienced empowering other people, and you know, I don't care if when I'm teaching a writing workshop, I don't care if there's 2 people or 50. Those people deserve my respect, and they deserve my encouragement to live their dreams.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. There was a thought I was reading, a quote I was reading this morning that for the life of me escapes me. Somebody had asked me, why do I write? And what came to me was, if you don't follow your dreams, you're letting the other guy win, because they're going to fight you on this. And as a wise person once said, if you're on the right path, it will always be uphill, because to get to what makes you happy, the pinnacle of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization. You need something that makes you happy, and if it's writing, then you need to do it. But people are going to stop you from being happy because they can't be happy.
Exactly.
So like I said, they're going to try to stop you. That tells you that you're on the right path, and that's resistance I have faced since I discovered my passion for writing when I was 7 years old.
And then you're still going to find those people who are jealous or haters or whatever, because, I mean, I wrote about human electric cave catfish, and I was called a psycho just because I came up with this fantastical story. So, you know, they just can't wrap their heads around.
Yeah, yeah, it's something they can't understand.
Exactly.
It's like, pardon the reference, but it's like Voldemort. What separated him from Harry Potter is that Voldemort could never understand what love was, because he was conceived under a love potion. He was conceived under a love potion. He could never understand that concept, but Harry could very easily. And just like us, we have it within us for greatness. And they can't understand that. I mean, take my brother, for instance. Because of my anxiety, I had found it impossible to find a job. But he's convinced I'm not even trying. But you see, I have found it. I have found what makes me happy. And, I mean, he would have never have assumed that I would have been on your show even 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because he didn't believe in me, but I did.
You got to keep pushing for your dreams. There's I was in a book club when I was working on my first book, and I did not get support or people backing me up, and I had to just keep fighting for it for myself. So it's just, I hate to say survival of the fittest, but you just got to keep pushing.
Yeah. I was actually very fortunate to have my mom, who actually recently passed away. She always praised me as being her most creative. And that's part of what really helped propel me to be as passionate about writing as I am, because I believed her, and I was really proud to be her most creative. And the third book in the series is actually going to be dedicated to her.
Sweet. Well, again, can you tell us how to find you on Amazon and Instagram?
On Instagram, you can find my personal Instagram at Vincent042. On Amazon, you can look up Joel Heath or Journey to Jershon, Jershon, and both of my books should come up.
Sweet.
Or you can find me at joelheath@weebly.com.
That's awesome. I want to take 2 seconds and do something really quick.
Joel, I just want to encourage you to just keep going for it. There are going to be people that are going to be haters. There always are, and haters always hate, like the expression goes. But as a writer, you're just remember that you're writing for yourself. This is something you've got to get out, and you will find your own audience. They're out there. They just haven't discovered your books yet. So just keep going, buddy. Don't quit.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Well, I am Jae B Wells. I'm your hostess. Don't forget to go to Wichita, Kansas. Check out Al's Old Bookstore and Knapp Weaponry. If going through Pratt, Kansas, stop by, get a cup of coffee at In Cahoots. Don't forget a shout out